When we lost power because of the edges of the hurricane, I spent the evening walking around my neighborhood, looking at all the branches that had been struck down to lay in the street like small, capsized trees of their own. These are branches that are from trees as big as buildings, so enormous you don't see them, just immovable features of the landscape. I've been living in this part of Providence for 3 years now, and have walked down the same street so many countless times it is beyond familiar, but suddenly the roads were rerouted, and massive chunks of what had been in the sky had been moved to the ground, and it made me reconsider, what does my neighborhood actually look like? I've been fantasizing about packing up all my possessions and slinging them over my shoulder and going out west. The bag that cartoon hobos have is called a bindle, and I think I learned about it from SpongeBob when Gary the Snail leaves home. In Cody, Wyoming, there is a Stampede rodeo that is really well documented on YouTube. I've never been to Cody, Wyoming, and when I watch videos of the rodeo, which I've been doing a lot recently, they're filmed only 3 states away, but it might as well be on the other side of the world. I have no reference point for what Cody, Wyoming is like, and in this way, it's very exotic to me. Despite it being in my home country, despite it being very quintessentially my home country, and despite it being more traditionally and legibly of my home country than I am. Mostly the videos look like this. They're crammed with icons of the Wild West, and sometimes resemble the type of self-consciously American paintings you might see on the wall at a kitsch diner. Sometimes, though, the videos look like this. This is something I know very well. I know it because it is beautiful, and I know it because its beauty is self-evident and self-contained, and I know it because I've taken videos like this by accident and on purpose, and I know it because it doesn't describe the events of the rodeo, but instead the strange and beautiful and perfect existence of the rodeo. It's like a dream, this rich neon red that singes the bottom of the frame like hellfire creeping through the arena, this terrible suffocating indigo sky that heaves its weight across the top, and then in the center, this perfect American flag whipping violently in the wind. Evanston sunsets look different than Providence sunsets. This was really surprising to me because Evanston and Providence have the same latitude, and when you fly from one to the other, the plane follows a straight line parallel to the equator. Above the clouds, all sunsets look the same, and I know this because I take a picture of the sunset every time I fly, thinking one day I will care about this photo, or this photo, or this photo, as if these photos could ever actually serve as mementos to wherever I was traveling. Obviously, I forget about them as soon as I leave the airport, and I now have hundreds of photos of airplane sunsets that are completely indistinguishable from one another. So, from above the clouds, you can't tell the difference, but underneath, it's crazy. Evanston sunsets look like a melon rind, and Providence sunsets look like a nuclear disaster. I was told by a friend that Wyoming sunsets look like the sky is framed on all sides by fire, but I think it's more that living in Wyoming just makes you feel fucked up like that. When the Wild West actually did break out in wildfire, it changed the sunsets everywhere, even in Providence. The sky was white and the sun was red. I had seen Providence during sunset so many countless times in my neighborhood I stopped noticing what it looked like, and then all of a sudden I was walking around and the clouds were different, and the rooftops were different, and the shadows were different. The churches looked weird and the air felt stickier. I thought, is this what a Providence sunset is like? One day, I'll probably hop on the back of a freight train with nothing but a shirt on my back and a Gary the Snail bindle bag over my shoulder. I'll say, "Take me west to Cody," and the conductor will go, "Whatever you say, kid," and as I whiz by, I'll see the streets I see always turn into the streets I see sometimes, and then into the streets I see never. I'll see the enormous trees in my neighborhood become as small as branches. I will see the Providence sunset turn into an Evanston sunset, and then into a Wyoming sunset. Red and indigo and deep blue.